Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Mrteamguy with another episode of Gaming Spotlight. Today I want to talk about an indie historical strategy game called Oriental Empires. It was developed by Shining Pixel Studios and published by Iceberg Interactive. It was released on September 14th, 2017. I went in without any expectations and was impressed. This is not a Total War or Civilization reskin. Noble and peasant happiness are separated. They are appeased differently and their rebellions behave different. You can create noble and peasant units for free, although upkeep costs apply. Conscripting huge peasants' armies is cheap, but long campaigns will anger them, while being a strain on your economy. Professional soldiers require money to train and equip, but they won't defect to a peasant rebels, and won't make your farmers unhappy when you throw them against your neighbors. This isn't a Total War game where peasants are happy to fight with you forever. Employing them in large numbers is for short-term conflicts and emergencies. The happiness of your empire isn't something that is static. To begin with, the satisfaction will naturally fluctuate a little on its own. Random events such as natural disasters or eclipses or omens can cause large swings in mood, the negative effects of which can be mitigated with research. Furthermore, the authority of your leader may vary. Send him out to win victories and your people will be less inclined to rebel. Lose battles and your authority will decrease. If he dies in battle or old age, his successor will have temporary penalty to authority. It's even worse if your leader dies without his heir. Messy power struggles after a king's death are common in history, so it's nice that the game reflects this with its mechanics. Rebellions aren't easy to deal with. Nobles are more likely to rebel further away from your capital, and armies with too many peasants will join peasant rebellions. Creating and moving professional armies around takes time. Entire cities can defect to rebels. It's satisfying to watch a large rival split in two. Edicts are handled cleverly too. You can order your nobles to ride horses instead of being foot soldiers. Force farmers to use a new system for increased profits. Or recruit new officers to reduce unhappiness in cities and grant a bonus to armies they lead. Passing one usually means angering nobles or farmers, in the short term or permanently, in addition to require gold per turn. Therefore, they require a bit of thinking before using. People looking for Total War style battles will be disappointed. But that doesn't mean that combat has no depth. Using various unit types, tactics and terrain matters. Since it's difficult to control a huge number of cities on your own without rebellions, you'll need to create vassals and convince other factions to recognize you as the emperor to control the huge map of China. This isn't a game where you paint the map your own color. Diplomacy is important, and internal weakness is just as much of a threat as external factions. The game features a campaign mode with historic starting locations on a large map of China, a later start date with impending war, and randomized maps based on the topography of a region. In addition to games against the AI, online multiplayer is available for up to 15 players. The interface provides a handy list for easy access to cities, units and events, but does not expand vertically when necessary. The game also relies on different city and map views that actually don't look any different, requiring constant tedious switching back and forth. Settlers are sent out to found new cities, and farms are built to grow a population. Most income is gained from taxes, so having a large population is the key. Some factions are herders that automatically use the surrounding land. Additional city options include roads, removing pesky trees, and placing special buildings to extract tradable resources or lower unrest. Each city can also trade, recruit units and build special military or defense structures. Both units and buildings have very high upkeep and should only be called upon sparingly. Map-based encounters can be scouted by a leader and provide bonuses, while roaming bandits must also be dealt with. Keeping unrest low is very important as rebellions are a very real threat. This can be done by placing the occasionally structure and reducing the number of farms and roads being built. New technologies can be researched, and diplomatic options are basic. Mutual defense, attack with faction, and stuff like that. Combat is automated, but unit behavior, attack, flank, retreat, and formation can be adjusted before the battle begins. The AI is generally competent, but doesn't expand far enough away from existing cities. Oriental Empires, while clearly using the same foundation as other 4X games, adds enough regional flavor and other changes to the usual formula to stand out. Let's address a few issues most people seem to have first. There are too many bandits and you get raided a lot. This is a very simple problem. You know the person has not played the game a lot or either don't have the brain matter to comprehend the game if you see this as a complaint. Bandits will appear at the extremity of your map, meaning that the more you explore around, the less bandits will be knocking at your door. The game tells you to go explore in the very first turn too. So basically, these people are whining because they did not listen to the AI giving advice in game. I had a few problems with revolting peasants until I understood the mechanics behind it. It's pretty historical as well. Ancient China was plagued with revolts and rebellions from peasants, so in that aspect, the game represents it very well. Basically, you do not want to overwork your peasants. Any work you tell them to do is forced labor. They are not paid to do that work, you force them to go work for the state, for the greater good, and so they get angry because they cannot work on their field and are likely to starve. This means that your farms won't produce, if all your farmers are working at building roads and buildings. And of course, your people will get angry as they're starving. Just keep a close eye on the revolt bar, it tells you a percentage of people that are unhappy with the state. Build some shrines to reduce and research tech that adds culture for peasants and authority for nobles. Shrines will affect either noble or peasant. Just make sure you look at the info before you click. Basically, this game sets a historical and realistic tone. You do not want to war constantly your peasants. You do not want to be at war always. There will be lots of turns where you just don't do anything. It's peacetime, and nothing needs to be done. You are accumulating money and thinking about the future of your people. When you have multiple cities, there will always be something that is being done. But what I do, I spend a lot of time on one city, until my peasants get tired, and then I leave it alone and concentrate on another. Only build what you need. You do not want everything. Choose how you want to plan out your cities. Ideally, have all your food and market cities on the borders of others, and have all your military cities in the inner circle. That way, if you get attacked, you will only lose business and food cities, and you will be able to build an army to go and recapture them. Always keep money with you in case this happens. There is no need to spend all your money all the time. I usually keep a coffer of 3000, just to be able to mount a quick army and defend my towns in case I'm attacked by surprise. That means that I have a coffer of about 6000 at all times. And I don't permit myself to use any of it once it reaches 3000. Leave garrison troops near the rivers. What I do is I build roads across the river, that way everybody goes through the roads. So I'll have a road that crosses the river on the far right and one on the far left. I keep 4 units of professional soldiers, heavy spear and 1 noble on horses to both crossings. With this I will leave a mixed units of horses in the middle to quickly be able to reinforce whoever gets attacked first. I conquered all the clans behind that river, took a few of their cities and made them recognize me as an emperor, meaning that I don't have to worry about them attacking me, and I can leave all my cities undefended in the rear and the middle. Keep in mind, always keep at least 1 noble in each town. I also made a garrison city across the river so that if anything happens, it will be the first one to be attacked and I will have time to prepare and fortify while my garrison city takes the blow. This of course depends largely on where the factions are and the map. I'm talking here as a grand campaign map. With the first faction available that I picked to play, make strategies that resemble what I have said here, and it will be a cakewalk. Don't use peasant armies to calm a peasant revolt. Seems logical enough. Try to get professional soldiers as quick as you can through research. I didn't have to use any armies until turn 100. I barely used any of my peasant armies, I used multiple 1 unit of noble to discover the map in all directions. Never had a problem with the bandits. I mainly use professional soldiers to garrison my cities and my import roads and river crossings. Don't build your cities close to each other. Discover the map and look for mines, wild horses, rhinoceros and other resources. Build a few cities all over the place, close to resources, and you will quickly have a rich cities. Build roads to better trade. As soon as you see an AI, be nice to them. Try to make peace, don't go into a defensive pact. Just make a pact that you won't attack each other for 20 to 40 turns. Be friendly with everyone, until you carefully choose your move. Try to pick the weakest link in the chain, capture a couple of his cities and sue for peace, and get them to recognize you as the rightful emperor. Once you have picked your target, build up an army and get close to his border. Chances are he will embargo you because you are scaring him. So now you can declare war on those peasants for embargoing you. Just like Japan did to the US during the World War II, when you think of it. That is basically how I go on about war. I usually don't completely capture my enemies. I take about 2 cities or 3 from them and then sue for peace. That way I get wonderful allies that are protecting the flanks of my cities. Okay, I think I talked too much about my gameplay experience. As you may see, I really enjoyed this game. Let's get back to the review. The game is extremely realistic and historical of that time period, so just think as if you were actually a Chinese emperor and everything should be fine. In Total War games you can easily be a tyrant without any danger. In real life of course it's not the case, and you won't be able to be a tyrant in this game. The game have a few bugs, mainly camera. Sometimes it will just start flying in one direction, until I stopped it with my keyboard arrow buttons. That's about the only bug I have encountered. Great game, a bit too easy, but I will try to play with a higher difficulty and see what the game offers. Also, keeping track of your characters is a mess. I wish there was a family tree window time, just like in Total War. Let's address this issue that a lot of people seem not to like. This is fine, to each its own, and I wish as well that you could actually control your units just like in Total War. But the combat is pretty nice in itself. You can have a battle plans, choose formation type, basically you are the emperor and not a general. Your generals and noble will fight the wars for you. You just give them some basic rules to follow. Also, I didn't get into any bugs so far about the combat, except the camera. Units react good and they are not too dumb, but even if your units are the smartest ones, keep in mind that the enemy is the same, so it balances well. Well, the game is really good, and I definitely recommend to check it out. Okay, this was your boy Mrteamguy with another episode of Gaming Spotlight. I hope you will enjoy my recommendations. Okay, just wanted to say thanks for watching and have a nice day.